Hi, I'm Sam Irwin, and today we're going to talk about a question we get a lot in the office in the spring. And that is, what do you do when you get your shipment but you can't plant right away? And there's some really important things to keep in consideration here. One is, just how soon will you be able to plant? Do you think it's going to be 2 days, or is it going to be 2 weeks, or is it going to be a month? Well, hopefully it won't be a month, because it's always better to plant the plants just as soon as you can. But here I have a box, and this is how things come from Indiana Berry. And we got 25 red raspberries here. And we've got 2 blueberries and a couple hundred strawberries. These are packed differently. Strawberries and asparagus are always packed in a sealed bag, while blueberry plants and raspberry plants, the roots are sealed up, and there's usually paper towel in here and water to keep them moist. Now, if you think it's just going to be a few days, you can just put them in a basement or in a cool garage or someplace where they just won't heat. Make sure they're out of the sun and they won't get any sun. But now the problem comes in if you're going to hold them for more than 2 days. If you think it might be a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks before you can get them planted. There are some options. Strawberries and asparagus, it's best to try to get them in the refrigerator if you can. Now, one thing you can do is you can put the strawberries, you have a spare refrigerator out in the garage or something, you can put the strawberries in the bag sealed up. If it's just going to be a few days, put them sealed and in the bag, in the refrigerator. If you think it's going to be longer than just a day or 2 or 3 or 4, you may want to open it up, make sure there's no mold in there, and then watch for mold, and make sure you get it to where you can open it up if you do see any mold starting at all. Now, we talk about keeping these in our freezers in our warehouses here. Do not put them in your freezer in your house. When we say we keep them in a freezer, we keep the freezer at 28 to 32 degrees, where just the free water is frozen around the plants. If you put these in your freezer, you're going to kill them, because it's like 20 below in there. Do not put them in your freezer, but keep them as close as you can to 32 as possible. So hopefully you can just pop them in there and they'd be good for maybe a week, maybe 2, but just keep an eye on them. Now, with these raspberries, if it's just going to be a few days, you can easily just put them in the refrigerator, not the freezer, but in the refrigerator, keeping them cool. But if you think it might be a week or 2 weeks, you can also do something we call healing in, which is just a short-term solution to take care of your plants. So you open them up. You see we have this paper and the moisture so they don't dry out. And when you heal them in, all you're doing is a very temporary situation. You're just putting the plants down here in this furrow. Real close together, but all the roots go in the same way, so they're easy to know exactly how you're going to pull them out. Make sure the roots get down in. And then you're just going to put a thin layer of dirt, but you're going to make sure the roots all get covered with dirt. And I've actually kept plants, I mean, like a month. Like, it's not good, it's not the best, but it's better than just leaving them in the bag if you're going to have to wait a long time before you can plant them. And just this thin layer of dirt will make it, and they will start to grow. And they will require more care once you try to replant them. But they can stay like this. Now, it'd be better to water them down. But you can keep them like this for quite a long time. And then, of course, when you're ready to plant, you just loosen them back up like this, pull them back out. This is what we call healing them in. Another option you can do that works extremely well on blueberries, if you can't plant right away, is to pot them up. So we unwrap the plants, pull it out, and get a pot. 1 gallon pot size works really well. The nice thing about doing this is you can hold them for months this way, as long as you keep them watered, really well watered. Lots of growers, commercial growers, will buy potted plants, and they'll just keep them watered under a sprinkler and just keep them, and then plant them whenever they have the time with their crews. And it can be even in July. If you keep them well irrigated, you can plant a potted plant in July, but you got to keep them watered real well. It's always best to plant your plants right when they come. If you can get them in the ground, the sooner the better. But I know that's not always possible. In the early spring, it could be frozen ground. In later spring, it could just be lots of rain. Or it might even just be something in your schedule that doesn't allow it. I hope today that I've given you some options to hold those plants and try to establish still, even after 1, 2, 3, maybe even up to 4 weeks, you can still establish a good stand of plants if you handle your plants correctly. I'm Sam, and check us out at indianaberry.com. Thank you.